G'day, welcome to the channel. So this is a video to help out people that have bought my Gx160 and Gx200 Performance Stage 1 upgrade kits. So this will help you get through the installation of what you've got, what you're going to get, and how you're going to get it on your engine to get it all running. So let's start off with what you're going to get in the kit. So first thing you're going to get is a header pipe. This header pipe comes with 2 bolts. That'll bolt it to your engine and a brand new gasket. Comes with a choke hold down bracket, so once you take everything off here, underneath here you got your choke lever handle. If you don't use this bracket, then it's going to fall apart. We've also got the air filter adapter, and over here you have a brand new air filter. We have 2 new bolts to bolt it all together. The Allen head, similar to the bolts that come with your exhaust, so everything's all Allen head hardware. And then also the last and final piece of this kit is the new brass jet. So this is the important part there. Since we're letting more air into the engine, we're going to have to let in more fuel, and that's what helps you make the power. So this is your stock engine. So there's a few parts that we're going to have to take off here. Some of this engine's already disassembled, so some of these steps might be a little bit different, but I'm going to run you through basically what you need to do to get this apart, and you should be able to follow along from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is take off this airbox, because we're not going to be needing this one anymore. We want to get this out of the way. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take off the top. When you open up this one, your one should have probably a bolt and nut on here, so you're going to take that off, and then you can loosen the air filter. Now under here, onto the top of your engine plate, there'll be one more bolt probably here, so you get a 10mm socket. Take that one off, and you're going to have 2 10mm bolts on the front of your airbox. So we're going to take those ones off. Now we can keep these nuts, because these ones might come in handy if you don't have a set of vice grips at home to take it apart. Right, so carefully hold on to the breather hose that comes off the back of the rocker cover here. Hold that, and carefully slide off the airbox. We don't need that anymore. So as part of this installation, we can now, you'll have a rod going across here to your governor, and there'll also be a spring attached to that, so you want to disconnect those, and you can take the fuel hose off this side, take that off, and then you'll be able to slide the carburetor right off, because for what we need to do to the carburetor to change the jet, we're going to take this right off. So we'll pop that to the side. So on your engine now, you have these 2 exposed studs. There's a number of ways you can get this off. If you have 2 12mm spanners, you can wind this one on just like that. You can wind the second one on like that. At the moment, what I've got on hand is a pair of vice grips, so you just hold the first nut with the vice grips, second one 10mm, use a 10mm, hold the second one, tighten up the first one, and you can just undo it like a bolt, like that. Boom, out she comes. The other way that we can get this done is just using a pair of vice grips. Put a pair of vice grips on the shaft, spin it around till it's loose, out it comes. Now we don't need those, but you might be able to use those later on in the shed, so you might want to keep them. Now this black plate here is something that we want to keep, because this is an insulated plate, so we want to keep this, because this is what helps the heat not transfer from your head through to the carburetor. So you want to keep your carburetor cool, so we're going to keep this and put that just here. Right, so for the jet installation, what we want is a 10mm socket, and we're going to undo the bolt in the center of the carburetor here. So we just crack that, we can take that bolt out of there. carefully take that out. We'll remove the bowl. And now, where we want to look is down inside this hole here. So if we look closely, we want to look down inside there, and you'll see a brass jet inside there, and it's got a flat surface for a 4mm blade flat screwdriver. So we want to put that in there, and you just gently turn it around. You'll feel it so it drops into place. Then we can carefully undo the jet. Now we can take that out and that'll drop out. Now, this one had the emulsion tube is staying inside there. So in your carburetor, the emulsion tube might come out with the jet or it might not. So this is the jet that came out, but you want to put that one aside and you're going to want to put the new one in. But just for this example, I'm going to put the old one back in. So you just drop that into the carb in the center, and you're going to do that back up again. Just like that, and then pinch it up. You don't want to strip it, because once you strip that jet, you're going to be in all sorts of trouble that you don't want to get yourself into. Now, carefully make sure that the O-ring is seated in this little home there. Just make sure the O-ring is seated nicely. Carefully put the bowl back on. So you want to make sure that's seated so you don't get any fuel leaks. Carefully put that bolt in. Turn the socket on to turn the other way, and we want to nip that up tight. Right, that's the modifications we need to do to the carb. So for this, we need our backing plate, we need our carburetor, and then we're going to need the air filter housing. So these are going to have to go together in order. So we're going to get the first bolt, slide it through the housing, slide it through the carburetor, and we're going to slide it through the backing plate. Get the second bolt and we'll do the same. Line those up, then we can slide that through onto the engine, and we can start screwing those in with a 5mm Allen key. Just start those off. Now, this is the time where you want to get your breather hose, which is this fella here on the coming off the rocker cover. We're going to slide that onto there. Do these bolts up one at a time. We're going to make sure this goes on nice and square. Going to do these up. Not too tight, but nice and snug, so it's held on nicely. Just like that. It's looking good. Perfect. So, then we want to get our air filter. We're going to carefully slide that over the top of there, so that sits nicely onto there. Then we're going to get our choke hold down bracket. Now that will slide under our hose clamp, and it's going to sit on here to hold our choke bracket, so our choke bracket will still turn. We can still use the choke, but our choke bracket won't fly out when we're going fast down the road. Slide that forward a little bit, slide that in there, make sure that the hole lines up, and then we can get a screwdriver, make sure that you got full range of motion with your choke before you snug this bad boy up. Right, and there we go. So that's all you want to do for your air filter. So we've got the jet put in, we've got the carb bolted up, we've got the air filter on, and we've got the choke hold down bracket in place. All working as it should. So that's good. Right, now we're going to turn our attention to the exhaust side. So we're going to flip this around so we can see under here. We're going to need to take off these two nuts. So we're going to need a 12mm spanner. Going to open that up. Now, as you'll see with this one, I got one nut that's going to come out with a stud, which is good because we want to take these studs out because we're going to be replacing them. So we'll take the first one out. It was going to be the nut and the stud all at once. Say goodbye to that, and the second one is also going to be the same. So lucky for me, I only have to take that's it. Have to do it all in one. What you could do if you got the nuts coming out, you could do exactly the same as what you did before to get the ones out of the carburetor, and just use the two nuts, lock them in place on the stud and take it out, or you could use a pair of vice grips, whatever works for you. So we've got those out now and they're out of our way. Then we have our new gasket upside down, so that goes on there like that. For this example, though, we're not going to use the new gasket. I just want to show you guys what's going on. I'm going to put the first bolt in, start it off. Eventually. Yeah, we get the second one. Make sure you got the lock washer there. Alright, just get those snug down with our fingers. Right, and we can tighten those down. Right, so now that we've got those on, that's pretty much all we need to do. So let's flip that around. I can bring you in here, we can have a good look at what we've done. Right, so we'll turn this around. So here we are. So as you can see over here, got the choke hold down bracket in place, doing what it should do. Air filter's on nice and snug, and we have off the back of the rocker cover here, we have the breather hose coming back into here, so it's still doing what it would have done on the standard setup, but we've got it on our one. Now we've got the header pipe coming off the side here, all ready to rock and roll. So this is, as you can see, nice thick steel wool exhaust, so you can weld your muffler on the back should you want, and you're ready to rock and roll. Looking good. So plonk you down there. So there we have it. This is all you're going to need to do to get it running. So just remember, when you got this on, you need to take note that when you look at your airbox, remember when you turn your choke on, choke comes backwards to be on, forwards to go off. And your fuel is on the top of the carburetor there. You can see the on and off on there, so you know that it's forward to go on. So when your fuel is on, your choke goes backwards to start, forwards to run. So your choke and your fuel will be in the same position when you're running off choke. Easy way to remember. But yeah, so that's all you need to do. That'll get you running, and so get all this pesky stuff here off your engine and make it look good. So if you have any questions, just put a comment below. But thanks for watching.